Hey guys, this is Jack here coming in from the Overland Expo 2023. You may notice I'm not outside standing in front of some fancy vehicles. It's because it is raining. It is raining a lot, and it has been raining for hours. So we are heading up here in the media room, and we wanted to still talk about our giveaway that we're doing, and we also wanted to connect with some cool vendors that we've seen out here. So today, we're super excited to talk to Reed from the Wolf Rigs setup, and here he is. So, Reed, what are you guys doing over at Wolf Rigs?
Succession of events. I just did it's an amazing idea. So look at our history, we actually see
Okay. All right, guys, thanks so much for your patience. We are having a lot of fun at today's event. We are really trying to get this thing rolling, but life is providing a challenge, right? So tons of rain, and now we're here talking to Reed with wolfrigs.com.
Yep.
And Wolf Rigs, and he's going to tell us about the Humvees that they upfit and turn into super cool RVs.
So we actually build an Overland vehicle on a Humvee chassis, and we take it down to the frame, put a new engine, new drivetrain, whole new drivetrain in it, and we put a motorhome VIN on it, so you can actually license, title it, and insure it, and even finance it as an RV. So we were going to build 4x4 Sprinter vans, and I saw what they can't do on off road, and I don't think they look terribly nice. I want to build something cool. So if you look at our Instagram on Wolfrigs USA, you'd actually see a picture of me with one of the first CAD drawings of the vehicle, and also the first vehicle we built. So kind of start to finish, it's been a passion project.
That's really awesome. So yesterday wasn't raining. I was able to go out and take a look at them. Really sick RV. I mean, I was in the Army. I love driving around Humvees, love playing with these things, and the concept that he's done, it just looks really awesome. It reminds me kind of a little bit of the old Toyota Chinook, except for with a super mean looking Humvee on it.
Right.
So really cool. Love the look. It's awesome. We're super excited.
And it's designed to really be the toughest RV out there. And when I say RV, it's really an Overland vehicle. But the concept at first was really to do something no one else has done, but also to build something that no one else is building, which I don't know if anyone out there owns RVs, but the biggest complaint I've heard from RV owners is that they always break down. They're built poorly. They fall apart all the time. I wanted to build something that will last long enough for you to hand out to your grandkids. So here we are. And also, I beat the hell out of it. It's tough road.
Yeah. I heard earlier you were talking about use aluminum plate.
Yes,
for your siding.
So it's actually made out of 1/8" aluminum plate, and it's on an 1/8" aluminum or 8" wall, 1.5" by 1.5" tube skeleton, and then we plate it with 1/8" aluminum, and then we panel bond and rivet with a strap, a 14 gauge strap, all the way around. So it's burly.
It's really solid.
It's super light too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you were telling me that one of the things you guys do is you break down and you kind of get rid of the old engines that these Humvees come with, because they're known to have problems.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things we get all the time, they walk up and go, "Oh my gosh, it's 5 miles a gallon." Well, the prototype does, but it has the old engine in it. And the whole reason that we did do a newer engine, we're doing a Cummins 6.7 as our base model with an Allison 1000 transmission. These 425 horsepower and 16 miles to the gallon. So we've made it an incredibly reliable engine with an incredibly reliable transmission. Not only auto manufacturers have done this before, but it's right there. And I wanted to build something that literally is bomb proof. Yeah. So all the bad things that are about Humvees, we take out and we throw it out the window, and we start from scratch, which is why we can bend them ourselves.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, super cool. I was looking and I loved how you had it looked like you had some kind of old school radio system.
Yes. Well, it's a ham radio, so it's not old school, so it's new school, but it's the dashboard. Really, I had one of my guys actually put it together, and it was just something we threw together. So there's other manufacturers that come up that have a dash that we use, but if you want an old school dash, well, I'll do that for you too. So we're building them.
That's awesome. Who do you partner with to do your radios?
Right now, we don't really have a partnership with a specific company. I know there's a bunch of people here at the show that we're probably going to connect with, but and that goes back to innovation and going back to really what we want this to be the best.
Okay. Yeah, we talked to Midland. That's one of our sponsors of the show. And Midland does really great radios. I run a 15 watt, or actually I run a 25 watt Midland GMRS in the car. Love those. They're pretty solid. We use them when we're out on the trail. So worth looking at for you guys.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that was pretty fun. We are super excited. We're going to be showing you guys some more video on tomorrow's live stream from their rigs that they've got set up. We're not going to see them right now because it's covered in rain, but tomorrow we will.
It's in its element.
Like we do have a question coming through.
Yeah, so it's all what I'm asking is what's the biggest rig you've done?
But the biggest rig, this is the biggest rig we've done. Well, I know, I take that back. The biggest rig I've done was a 40-foot Bluebird All-American. We used the roof 8 inches. I built it out to be an RV. And that was really what started this whole adventure and getting into this community of, it's been, like I said, it's just been like one blessing after another. Coming into the kind of, this is what you should do. Okay. Here
That's
we are.
awesome. Yeah. So the biggest rig was a school bus.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer there
Yes.
for those who missed it. A big, huge bus.
40-foot.
40-foot bus. So that's
8 feet
awesome.
wide.
Yeah. And is that the one you guys still have running around?
Yeah. As a
That's
matter of fact, Milspec is painting the whole thing. And we're using it together for different promotional stuff. Cool. But it's a rolling Class A RV.
That's awesome. Well, I get so excited when we talk about these things because I love getting out on the road. I love going out, getting some privacy and just getting away from town. I love having my Starlink to go out there and do that, and it lets me just live out on the edge. These are the kind of tools, these are the kind of vehicles that we want to drive to get out there, and super cool for an old veteran like me to get to be able to drive an old vehicle.
Yeah,
I know you served. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. So veteran-owned business, veteran-owned, veteran ran, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So we support veterans. Hell yeah. So awesome. Really great to have you on the show, Reed.
Well, thank you so much.
Yep. We're going to come and we're going to check back with them tomorrow, and we're going to look at their vehicle in person when it's not raining. Fingers crossed. All right, guys. Thanks so much, Reed. Well, take care.
Take care.
Well, we had some vendors here, right? But we've also got some fun panelists that have come in to join and poke fun at us having to suck it up in the rain here. So really excited that we got Nick Milani here from Epiphan, Julian Fernandez from Epiphan. They're hooking us up. part of what this is right, we're doing it in coding. We're really trying to push the limit of what we can do with our live streams and all of the exposure for overlanding. So, you know, we've gotten with Epiphan and they've connected us so that we can push this video out from the middle of a forest. Now, I'm standing inside a building, yes, but normally I would have been
super cool till it rained, right? That was gonna be
it was going to be amazing.
You're gonna be out there
Totally.
slopping around with a cart, sweating, interviewing people. I was gonna mock you, talk about the flexibility of our product. Now here you are stuck inside.
Guys, look at this. Look at this cart, right? Set this whole thing up to be a tank on wheels. There's the wife Jenny. She's doing awesome, helping me out. We are pivoting. We are doing everything that we can to keep this show on the road for you guys because we're super excited about it. All the companies who've worked with us for the giveaways, we're super excited for those. They're still going to happen. Make sure to listen. Keep listening so that you'll hear the secret words so you can hear the phrase that pays and go ahead and win some cool overland prizes.
By the way, we talked about this really cool concept, like everybody dialing in from their rigs right now and like riding out a storm. You know, we've all been there in one of those events where it's like all of a sudden the best laid plan. Like I'm looking at Frank right now because I know he's been there, and it's unfortunate that the Starlink can't get any internet access from inside a building, right? So we're kind of restricted with it. But like, I just love the fact that we're making lemonade out of lemons, and that this is all part of it, right? This is part of that overlanding life. It's like you don't know what you're going to get. You know, I rode out a 0 degree night with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old last fall because I didn't expect there to be a 0 degree night, but we were prepared for it. We had the right sleeping bags. It's all part of it. It's part of that idea of like just rolling with it. Jack, if you don't mind, I just like to introduce the two people that joined us because, you know, we're in the pre-show and it's like, who the hell's coming in here? We got all the vendors are hunkered down in the rain. We got no internet access because you shouldn't have internet access when you're overlanding. Let's be honest. This is kind of weird. And so we started to think back, like Frank is joining us from UNLV. Like Frank, you and I started talking about overlanding at NAB about a month ago. Same time I met Jack and got to connect with the team. Like you drove me to make a lot of expensive decisions. My wife is uncertain about, by the way.
Yeah, I have a tendency to doing that. I like to influence spending other people's money. I live vicariously through them.
It's kind of the overlanding lifestyle, I'm pretty sure, right? Cheers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what'd you turn me on to, Frank? Because I think it's been a really fascinating investment. Like walk me through like what your kind of experience is.
I mean, I'm a Jeep guy. I mean, I have a 2013 JK. I don't have too much overlanding gear. Matter of fact, I don't have any overlanding gear. I'm more of a camper. We pack, load in, we go, we camp, and then load out. Just getting back into it. I did it when I was younger, like younger, Boy Scouts and that sort of stuff. And then once my wife and I moved out here to Vegas, you know, we've slowly got back into the outdoor stuff, and 2 different jobs, 2 different schedules for a while. It was really hard to get away, but now we're kind of syncing up again. And so we're starting to get out again and starting to do some stuff. But I turned you on to a Camberg setup because when I was at the Mint 400 last year, Camberg had this decked out overlanding rig, and it was all done with Camberg gear. And these guys build trophy trucks. These guys build things that go through the desert at 120 miles an hour over 6-foot holes and stuff, and they build tanks. So that's what I said to you. I was like, man.
But by the way, let me tell you my horror story. My horror story was the Mojave Desert last fall with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old strapped into child seats in my F-150. Because let's be honest, it's like the ultimate like over the road family rig, and going over whoopties for 10 miles. And then everybody started to puke in the car. It really set up for a good night. I then camped promptly on the wrong side of a mountain. So I experienced 20-mile-per-hour winds in my Go Fast camper for the evening. And we have pictures of us all sitting in the bed of the pickup and like riding out the night with Mr. Buddy Heater. And so, yeah, when Frank suggested the new suspension, I was all ears.
Yeah, I mean, I watched
That's
these
awesome.
guys build, and I knew it was solid stuff. So I was like, you know what? I mean, they build stuff for every off-road thing that's out there. So I said, Nick, pulled it up on my phone, showed it to him right there. It's like, give this guys a look, man. They got some serious gear. And
I
yeah,
appreciate
so
the
that's what I
recommendation.
turned you on to.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, Jack, to like jump in there, but I love to connect back to how we all met back at NAB. And it's, part of this idea is Epifan's all about trying to connect people, trying to connect and create stories and allow people to kind of share their stories with the world. And there's a lot of constraints that come around with that, but there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to overcome it and try to celebrate like likeness. And for me professionally, it's always exciting with like personal passion intersects with like business. And I'm just really excited to be here. So sorry to jump in, but like I was, yeah, thanks for having me on a Friday, and happy Friday to everybody that's out there riding out a storm right now. Like I love riding out a storm in a campsite. That could be a lot of fun, actually. A lot of great stories from that.
For sure. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun here at the expo. Um, it's still pouring. Like there's nothing I can say. It's coming down out there, but we're gonna go around and we're gonna talk to all the different vendors, get everybody looked up, right? Do a bunch of shorts, all for the viewers, right? Because we want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. They get to see what the coolest stuff is from their viewers. So one of the ones I'm super excited about to talk to you guys about is Overland Vehicle Systems. So tomorrow we're going to be doing a really cool walk around with them, and they have come up with some cool canopies that they're putting on their trucks, and it's awesome. I'm really, really excited to show you. Like, get your questions ready. Anybody who's driving a truck, they've got some really cool offerings for you. So if you driving a truck, you want to watch this because they've got the new tents too, but they've got one of these canopies that's got the tent built into it, and it's super sick. And I'm really excited to learn more about it tomorrow. So we're going to check it out. We're going to get it going. But man, super excited. We're at the Overland Expo. We're talking to people. We're doing stuff. We're getting out there.
So the thing I would love to see, Jonas, come on, let's get this stuff up on the screen. I want to see these rigs. Like part of for me, the reason why I was excited about joining today, Jack, was I wanted to discover, like I couldn't be at Overland Expo. Like I'm a noob, right? I got this F-150. I meet somebody like Frank on the road at an event. We hit all of a sudden you go, yep, that's something that's interesting. I've done these kind of trips through, Joshua Tree up through, we're in the Washington area typically. I'm joining from West Michigan, road tripping with my young family. Like I always love seeing these things and trying to, understand like the impact it has. Like, the Humvee that he showed me, it blew me away when I looked at the interior. It's subway tiles on the inside of that thing. So you tell me you got a rugged rig that an old Army guy like you could be schlepping around in, because I'm an Air Force boy. So us Air Force guys, we want to be in something that looks pretty. We want to be in something that looks comfortable. Let's not even get started with how Julian's road trips start, because they're with dogs. And I think this was all part of it. Like everybody's on a different spectrum around this. It's understanding sometimes what people have and like what these different technologies are is really cool, because it opens up the art of possibility. It opens up the ability for us to kind of go do different things, Yeah, that's that interior. Thank you, Jonas. Look at that subway tile, butcher block. It's nicer than my house. I love it.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that is a really sweet setup in that wolf rig. Love
Frank,
it.
what's that look like for you for camping? Is that
For that kind of money, I don't know. It's pretty badass, but no, I'm not ready for that.
Well, it is what it is, right?
The reason why though I went with the Go Fast is because that does give you that ability to like just pop up and go. Like you're primitive camping, man. Like I'm sorry, my wife wasn't signing up for that. I'm gonna be honest with you. She wasn't a camper growing up. And so my journey to overlanding is I grew up camping my whole life because it was something that, poor people could do. And we went camping a lot as kids, that's just what we always did. You can go explore, and there was nobody that would tell you no on that. And my wife never grew up camping. And so my compromise was, let's get an overlanding rig that we can go out into the woods and have. And what's important for her, by the way, is she loves the quality time. She loves the fact that you don't have internet out there and there's no phones to stare at and there's no computers to look at. All the things that are ruining your show today, Jack, are the reasons why my wife loves overlanding. And but I also wanted to make it easier on her. I wanted to make it comfortable. I wanted to make it so that we could enjoy it. And so it's always interesting how that balancing act goes, like juggling the two.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I grew up going camping, right? Just camping with the family. We'd go camping every summer. We'd go camping in the spring all the time. And I love it. And so when I got out of the service, well, actually, while I was in the service, I'm sitting over in Afghanistan and I'm watching all these videos, and there's these guys who are taking Toyotas and they're going and they're driving all over the place doing self-sustained vehicle travel. And it just got me super excited because I was like, man, I want to go do this type of stuff when I'm not, when I'm done here. I want to go out there and just kind of get back in touch with nature. For
Yeah.
me, as like a veteran, like I struggle with PTSD, got TBIs, different issues like that. And so getting back to nature is such a key thing for me to
Man,
just like
TBI,
get
by the way,
out.
TBI is a big word. TBI is a big word. And that's, you're right. Like harmonizing and getting some of that stress and all that noise and all that stimulation, getting all
Yeah.
that stimulation. That's, wow. Sorry. I just want to pause there because that's not trivial. That's important. I think that's beautiful. I get it. That's, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
And that's
If,
been my motivation behind the Overland channel as a whole, right? Is just to build this community and then also to like get the word out because there's a lot of people who I don't think are really aware that so many people are out here doing this. And so that's what I'm trying to do is that, hey, let's go get it going. And, sometimes we can throw some trips together and get some people out and get some of that back to nature therapy for you.
well, I'll there's a Japanese study. They called it, I think, tree bathing, forest bathing. There was a study about people that spent time in nature and about how their mental health was statistically improved over people that didn't. And
Absolutely.
it makes sense to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Frank, are
Well,
you over there doing work from your office in UNLV? You're supposed to be talking about overlanding. You're supposed to be contributing over here. Come on, man.
Team me up. I got it. I can
What's it
multitask.
look like? Oh, but honestly, no, okay. You wanna talk about it? Your
What do
wife
you
used
want
to
to
be
know?
in a really, really stressful job, right? She was in a
Mhm.
really emotionally stressful job.
Yeah.
And you were on different hours. Does she see the outdoors and like camping as an opportunity to unplug? Does that resonate with you, or is your experience
She
different? Because everybody's path's different.
it doesn't matter if it's going to the grocery store or going camping or going traveling wherever. She doesn't care. She to her everything's going to work out, and she's adventurous like that. I have to have everything written down, planned, figured out where I'm doing, what I'm doing. We're completely different.
I
So to
love it. I love it.
so
She's more
to
like me in
her,
that way.
yeah. So to her, it's like, oh, let's just go this way and see where it takes us. And it doesn't, for me, that's my anxiety. So until I'm set up and I'm sitting by the fire with a beer in my hand, I don't relax. She's the complete
I'm
opposite.
the only one with the beer, by the way. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
well,
so now that's our what we're doing for pseudo stress relief is getting together to do that.
That's great. There is a nice balance between the planner and the person that's impromptu. That's actually a dynamic that's just inverted with my wife and I. Like she likes to plan, I like to be spontaneous. And so being spontaneous about where we camp is a really fun compromise because we can be within a boundary of like, okay, we know that this is a safe place. Like this is a forest, this is a BLM land, this is an area where we're permitted to do this, but we don't have to know exactly which stall and which spot and which time we arrive. We have the ability to show up and kind of choose what feels right to us. And that to me is like that really feeds my side of it. Like I really love that sense of exploration and not being constrained.
Nick, I love that you bring that up because one of our sponsors is actually Gaia Maps. And Gaia is a
Oh,
really, really great solution for knowing before you go, right? So they've got all of this information in their layers. They've even got this new overlanding layer that throws up all the information that you need so that you can see where fuel locations are, where campsites are, all this really cool stuff. Gaia is putting it out there to make your camping experience the easiest it can be, to make your overlanding experience the most successful it can be, but also so that you can be like me and do research while you're driving onto your trip instead of doing it, a week or two before, like you probably should. You should probably plan in advance. But if you're like me, you just kind of look, I'm
ah,
headed up north,
I
up the
mean,
freeway.
Frank, how do you feel about this? I went to Japan once for 2 weeks without a plan when I got on the airplane. I didn't even know how to get to the place I was going for the first night's stay. Like, I see, I love that idea, Jack. Like, I love that idea of just being able to go out and feel confident and safe about it because part of the problem you run into is some of the consumer technologies don't support it. And they
Yeah.
just don't, right? You're running into limitations with Starlink and a roof and building. And one of the things I think we were going to try to test and prove out was some of the, data accessibility stuff. That's just a big barrier right now. And that's really cool. I was actually just looking at my phone. I'm like, I'm going to flag that. That'll probably make my wife feel a lot more confident when I'm out there that I can find an actual plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Hey,
friend of the
Jack.
show, Chris Fenwick is here.
Yeah, hey Jack. If I could, I want to tell a quick Gaia story. By the way, I'm in my truck headed home for the weekend. As you know, I have my wife and I have two lives. We work in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, which we hate, and then get out of town and we have a house out in Sacramento. But anyway, last fall, Keenan, our friend Keenan, created a Gaia path. I don't know what they call it, and sent it to me. Now, he and his girlfriend had driven out to the middle of the Black Rock Playa dry lake bed, which is where they do Burning Man. Now, this was a couple of weeks after Burning Man, and we were going to go see a rocket launch festival. And I don't know if you've ever been to Black Rock, but you get to the edge of the lake and it is miles of just nothingness, pure nothingness. Like we drove, I think, 10 miles before we saw any like life that we were aiming at. And luckily, Keenan had given me this Gaia path, and there's rough, like tracks almost. It's like, I think I see tire tracks. And I start following the tire tracks. And then I look over at the Gaia map and I'm like, oh, no, that ain't right. And so the Gaia map was slightly off axis from the tire tracks. And now keep in mind, we're 10 miles from where we're going to be. So like a 5-degree difference, a 10-degree difference, we could be in a different county by the time we get to where we have to go. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to just follow the Gaia path. And I veered off the tire tracks and I just stuck to the path. Now, what was crazy is that Keenan and Jen had gotten there the night before at like midnight. And this is like the darkest of dark, not a light for miles, nothing but starlight. And they got there in the middle of the night. I had the benefit of doing it the next day, but still the Gaia path absolutely helped me. And as it turned out, I followed the path. And had I not looked up from the map, I would have absolutely just run into Keenan. It was dead on. It was just dead on. It was so comforting to be able to do that. And like, I can't even imagine if it was like a crazy mountainside where, there's a million paths and, sometimes something on a map just looks to be a different scale than when you're actually there. So you go, oh, here's the turn. Nope, that was the wrong turn. So,
by the way, you want to know a perfect example of that? A story from the waters behind me was a friend of mine on a sailboat with a radar, and a fog like this came in. His dad yelled at him to go switch on the radar. So he goes downstairs and he switches it on inside the cabin, right? Radar starts showing this huge object coming. Dad starts getting freaked out. A can rolls in, literally like somebody had tossed a Budweiser can over because he had it dialed in wrong. They had these false readings of this like big object approaching that scared the living what out of these guys. Like the fidelity of this stuff matters.
Oh, yeah.
The ability to like see it in detail really matters, especially if I'm tracking somebody. Like boaters, again, they know that when you're trying to navigate channels and you're trying to navigate the exact details of where you're at, if you miss a few feet to either side, it could be really nasty on you. So I love that, Chris. I think that's really and it's a great story.
It was amazing. It literally took me exactly where Keenan and Jen were parked. And we had a great weekend. We just popped out the awnings, popped up the tents, had some nice shade, because we're in the middle of this desert playa kind of thing. And Jack, didn't you say you have and I don't want to spoil anything, you have an OVS awning that they're giving away on this weekend for you?
Yeah, so we're super excited. OVS has told us they're giving away a 180 awning and one of their new air compressors. So
wow.
Really excited. Yeah. So
I have an air
giving away some
compressor
cool
question
stuff.
for you guys. Can I ask a question just because I'm a noob and I'm trying to figure this all out? Like I see like the whole like battery mounted, like driven air compressors. And then I'm like, well, what's the advantage of that over like I guess what's fill up time look like on something like that? Because I'm trying to figure out the justification for it. As I progress my rig, as I add and keep kind of building this thing, as the addiction grows, so to speak. Like, what's the advantage of like having a hardwired inflator?
It's good, fast, cheap.
So
Seriously, good. Everything, Nick. By the way, Nick, I was so glad I was wearing Jack's shirt when we came to your booth at NAB.
You
'Cause like,
confused the living you know what out of me.
like you're looking at my shirt and you're like, huh? What's that say? It was great. It was so great to see you again. No, everything, just like in broadcast and what you guys do at Epiphan, everything is a matter of good, fast, cheap, right? So you can have it good, you can have it fast, or you can have it cheap. And the thing I'm learning, I have the bad, cheap version of an air compressor back in the back of my truck. It's horrible. But like, if speed, and it's going to be something that you're going to do a lot, going from 35 to 15, or like my truck, the manufacturer recommended PSI for the tires on this thing is 55 PSI.
Oh my God.
That's it. It's like,
That's
if
kind
you
of
have to-
bananas when you think about the volume of a large tire, right? That's just
if
a
you
lot
have,
of
if
air
you
to
have to
push.
get to high pressure and you got to do it a lot, fast is better. So some of these better, dual, I don't even know, they call it a dual compressor. I don't even know what part of it is dual. I mean, that's what you're dealing with, right, Jack? Is just the ability to do it quicker, right?
Mhm.
right. So you're talking about a dual ARB air compressor. So they've got basically pushing almost double, not quite double, but almost double the CFM through. So you're getting more air coming through, higher PSI going through. So you're able to fill up that tire much faster. I will
Well,
tell you, Nick,
Sorry, Jack.
no, you're good. Onboard air is what they call it when you wire it up and it's
Okay.
100% running. I've run with a non-onboard air compressor wired up as onboard air, and the major thing there for me is that I use a Anderson plug, an Anderson power pole to connect mine, and then if I need to go do something with my wife's vehicle, if I need to air up her tires, something like that, then I can disconnect with that Anderson power pole and I can take it over. And so the one disadvantage to using a product like ARB's dual air compressor is that it's on that vehicle. And so the only thing that you can do is take
Right.
hoses to get away from it. Now, that can still be useful, but if you just want to pick up an air compressor and take it and go down to do a rescue, then it might be easier to do it with a portable setup.
Well,
So
I'm an old man that grew up like trying to position cars so you can jumpstart somebody else's car. Like, I hate the jumper cable length being the constraint. You know what I mean? Like, that's a real problem.
For sure.
That's
For
what you're
sure.
describing, right? Like, it's like it makes it easier on everybody. You can just kind of bring it where you need it and use it, which is really cool. I'm also like realizing I kind of made the comment to my buddy who owns a dealership the other day, and he kind of gave me like a "you're an idiot" type response. He's like, "You realize how much volume are in those new tires you just put on your truck, right? Like, you think you're gonna get there with some like little Pratt nailer? Like, it's gonna take time. Like, this isn't the ideal solution for you."
Well, and so that's what companies like Thor's Lightning Air Systems, they come up with a manifold that allows you to air up multiple tires all at once. Thor's does that. OVS will show us theirs tomorrow. They have what's called the air up, air down system. Really cool products that allow you to use one manifold to air up 4 tires all at the same time. Really great options. It definitely speeds it up, but it really matters what air compressor you connect to that manifold, because the manifold just makes air go 4 ways, right? So if you've
Right.
got a super slow air compressor that you're putting on there, yeah, and it's not going to be great. But at the very least, you only have to connect it to one place.
There's
And
a
that's the
camper
beauty of
right
those.
there. Somebody heading out. What do we got? It's a topper on top of that.
Probably a go
Not sure.
fast camper.
No, it's not quite. I can tell the difference. I'm good at spotting. My 5-year-old's gotten really good at it. He's 5 now.
It is go fast. It actually says go
There it
fast.
is. There it is.
But it's not the camper,
Anyway.
it's the go fast tent.
Rooftop.
Yeah, I think
pretty
it's
cool.
the tin on top of it. Yeah.
Nice.
No, you're right. Got on his probably heading the same direction you're going, which is great. What a nice Friday to get out on the road. By the way,
Right.
Chris, I love what you said about getting the hell out of town.
Yeah, there's two ways to do it. You do what Jack does, where he's like, "Bye, family," and he disappears for 2 days and goes as far away as possible. And then what we do is we're just averse to the big city life, and we have a little humble little house out in the suburbs, way out in the suburbs. It's the 90-minute drive on Fridays takes me about 3 hours to do, but it's great to get out of the city and just get away from people. And it's not like Jack get away from people, but it helps us most of the time.
But that's the thing
Wow.
is like we all have our path. It goes back to the same comment I said with Frank earlier. Like we're all on our path. We all have those ways, and it's about the escaping. And I think that is maybe too big of a word for some people. It's the word I like to use, but escaping a little bit, being able to get out there, and just remember that we're human. It's just awesome. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love getting away, going up north to the mountains. I love going to pine trees. And that's my thing. That's the thing, Chris. It's not about distance. It's about quality. So I want to make sure I'm going to a really solid quality location with some beautiful pine trees or a view, something like that. Or
Jack,
water.
by the way, I don't mean to be selfish, but back to the air compressor. How do I win that damn thing? Because I'm getting my car back soon. I got the Camberg. Thank you, Frank. I took a dent in my pocketbook with adjustable Fox shocks. I got the Devers springs. I'm feeling good about that. I got power to the back end. I got some light kit that I put in my Go Fast. How do I get that compressor, man? I need that thing.
So for all of the giveaways, right? Because we've got a couple. We've got Front Runners doing away one of their Wolfpack Pro boxes. Super cool. Midland is giving away a radio. It's going to be awesome. It's a vehicle mount, 15-watt GMRS radio. We're super excited to show that off. Wildland's giving out coffee. This is a really cool coffee, guys. We love it. It's stored with nitrogen in there so that it's shelf stable for at least a year, but sometimes 2 or 3, depending on feedback. But really cool coffee that comes in a tea bag. The 180 awning from OVS and the air compressor, those are all super sweet. So we're excited about that. Also, Wolf Rigs is going to throw in a backpack. Super cool backpack. Love it. That's cool. Then we've got the Gaia GPS is throwing in a 6-month subscription. We're actually going to be giving away 5 of those so that all of you guys who are lost, you can get found. So
My wife's
really
going to start
excited
submitting
that.
for that one. Frank's already dialed in for it.
I actually downloaded it while we were sitting here about 2 minutes ago.
I love it, man. Isn't that great? Like, what a killer little application. Of course they're figuring this stuff out.
And they're doing a great job. But everybody's been super patient and held with us on this stream. So now is the moment where I'm going to give you today's magic word. This is the word that will enter you into the giveaway. So it's going to be the Overland Channel 2023. The Overland Channel 2023. So go ahead and email that code to info@overlandproductions.net. That'll enter you into the giveaway. Here's our description of how you can do it. You've got to go in, subscribe to the Overland channel on YouTube and Instagram. We've just given you the secret word. It's the Overland Channel 2023. And send that over to info@overlandproductions.net.
Oh, hold on. I'm doing this right now. Oh, wait, I was already subscribed. Damn it.
First things first.
Not eligible. I'll get back to this conversation in a second. Let me go figure out how I get this really cool product. You know, one of the things, by the way, that I love about this space as an engineer is the engineering. Doesn't get talked about enough. Like it's really, you know, Frank, you turned me on to the Camberg guys. I called them, I talked to them, I looked at what they're doing. Holy snakes, incredible. You look at a lot of, but it's not these big manufacturers. It's a lot of small companies. You know, I had when I moved the family from the New York City area to the Seattle area. So Chris, I'll celebrate with you like a desire to get out of the big city. I'm here in West Michigan. I'm a rural boy. I grew up in Iowa. Like I might have to live in a big city to get my job done, but I like to get on the road and get outside of it. But you know, one of the things with the Go Fast guys when I stopped out there in Montana was just what a great operation it is and how highly engineered that product is. You know, you come back and you think about good, better, best. You think about the idea of like being able to get out on the road and just kind of camp with a tent. You think about that as like the most basic, like accessible thing for all of us. I have a tent. I can go sleep somewhere. Cool. You think about a truck or a vehicle that gets you out into those remote places. You think about how like car top campers start to get you to that spot. You think about then how you can, you know, go all the way up to, you know, the first beginning of this event, which was really fascinating around, you know, taking a Humvee and building like this rugged off-road kind of monster. Like it's just, I don't know. I think this is really cool stuff. And as an engineer, I look at it and I'm like, people are legitimately engineering these things to go survive in these elements. And that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool to see what's being built here. So many really interesting videos, guys. Check on Instagram, follow the at the Overland channel. We're going to be posting all the pictures of these rigs. Even though it'll be raining, we'll still get our phones out and take pictures for you guys because it's awesome. There's so many cool concepts that are being put into action here, and we're really excited for it. So definitely keep following along. We're excited. Tomorrow's going to be another stream, another chance to win. It'll be a different code tomorrow. So if you didn't already hear today's word, you know, go back and listen to it and then send it in. But new code tomorrow and opportunities to win. Remember that we're going to be announcing the winners on Sunday. So you got to get everything emailed in before, really you should, today's giveaway, it ends today. So you got to get it in today. and then, you know, tomorrow there'll be another
All this
opportunity.
pressure, Jack. Jesus, man. Come on.
Send an email. It's not that hard. Just send an email. All right. You're going to be fine.
I want to get to the campfire discussion. I want to hear from Frank about when he got rained out. I want to know I love this question that you gave us during the pre-show. Like, I'm so excited to, because I just imagine, is this still raining there, by the way? It's just dumping buckets.
Yeah, according to radar, I'm watching right here. It's still raining. I'm watching on the radar. So.
Thank you, Frank.
I'm nice and dry here in the desert. I'm about 100 miles away, and it's 100 degrees outside here. So
these guys are out here, and they are suffering, man. Let me tell you, just people wandering around in the pouring rain.
It looks like rain till about 4 o'clock. It says here.
4 o'clock is better than what we heard earlier. We were thinking it would be about 9 p.m.
Yeah, they said light showers, but the heavy stuff should be done by 4.
I have so many great stories of riding out crazy thunderstorms in tents. Like my entire life is filled with these stories. It's just some of my happiest memories on a full spectrum. Like what's the mood like there?
Oh, dude, I mean, people are just chilling, right? Like there's this whole expectation of today's day one of the show. So a lot of the people who are working the show have worked really hard to get to this point to the show. My wife and I, we've worked really hard to get ourselves to the show so we could put on this show for you guys. And you know, with all the rain, it's kind of a little bit of relaxing. We drank some coffee. Like we were nervous before the show because we wanted to make sure we put on a great show for you guys, for the community. But we figured it out. We pivoted. We found a thing to do, and we're bringing it to you guys, right? But that's pretty much what I see here going on. Is just other people who normally would have to be sweating, running around out in the sun. They're just kind of chilling inside, enjoying a rainy day. I mean, it sucks because there's a lot of people who put a lot of work into coming to this show, and you're not getting as much exposure as you might have hoped for. But you know, there's still like really good conversations. I was able to talk to a vendor last night while we were at happy hour, and super cool possibilities that might be coming up in the future. Really excited for that. Like these these moments coming to these shows, they are the reasons why we're going to keep coming to the shows, right? Because you get to meet people and learn the story behind it, right? Nick was talking about those campfire stories of things gone wrong, right? Like we slept in a trailer rented from U-Haul last night because I've been building a trailer for us. Super excited, right? I injured my wrist
Oh no!
and I had to stop building it. And so the time came and there's a big gaping hole in the side of my trailer. I can't bring it to an event like this.
Thank God you
I'm
didn't, by the way.
I'm so glad I did not bring it because oh man, the rain, it would have just been terrible. So, you know, we rented a U-Haul trailer and slept in the back of it. And you know what? It was dry. And we did hear it rain in the middle of the night and we didn't get wet at all. So, you know, that's
Hey,
those
Jack.
campfire stories. We just pivot and we keep going and have fun. Go ahead, Chris.
So Jack, speaking about pivoting and making this all work and stuff, I know this isn't really the core of what Overland Expo is about, and I'm excited to see everything else. But can you just for a moment explain how it is that you are at this event in this waterproof skiff that you're hiding out in and getting a signal out of there to YouTube in such a way that like, and I'm seeing the graphics come up, I'm seeing the web pages come up, and I know that Nick has a little bit to do with this, but can you give us like the 3-minute tour, and maybe Nick wants to explain a little bit about how you're even doing this and how you're getting a signal out of Arizona to the rest of the world?
Well, Chris is trying to set us up for a really great question, but we went with a lot of pivoting today. And so one of the things that we had to pivot from was this system that we built up, right? So we built up a system using Epiphan's Pearl Mini and Pearl Nano products. And so we've got 3 cameras that were going in for a 3-camera shoot. Those are going into the Mini, the Pearl Mini. And then we had the Pearl Mini that we were pushing through into the Pearl Nano. And so that let us get to a H.265, which was going to be a really great setup for uploading to YouTube. So we were super excited to be able to partner with Epiphan to do that. And we're loving the opportunities and the possibilities. Our production broadcast engineer, Jonas Tattel, he's in Germany and he's running this whole show remotely for us. And part of that is some of the tools that he's using through Epiphan Connect and you know, Zoom. And so we're able to put the show on for you guys remotely because of some of these wonderful tools that we're able to use.
Put the show on. Let's talk about this real. Chris, when did you find out you were going to be on the show?
Well, about a half hour ago, I sent a text message to Jonas, and I'm like, dude, put me in. How do I get in the show?
Yeah, right. Because all of a sudden you saw Frank, and you're like, who the hell's Frank? How did Frank get in here?
So seriously, all of a sudden, he sends me a Zoom link. We are technically sitting in a little Zoom meeting, but Jonas, with all of his, magic and using the Epiphan Connect site, is pulling all these images in out of Zoom and then doing all this other stuff that doesn't look anything like Zoom. But I'm thoroughly impressed with Jonas. He's a little bit like the Wile E. Coyote of video.
Hold on. We
genius.
gotta make sure that people don't see him. They don't understand that this is happening right now. Like for those of you that are looking from the outside, we're all on a Zoom call. Okay. This is just like any other meeting or nonsense you've ever participated in. I texted Frank. Frank, what was it, like 13 minutes before this thing started? You go back and look at the timestamp. Hold me accountable to the timing here. And I was like, hey, we talked about this Overlanding Expo event. You're into it. I'm into it. And all hell broke loose on poor Jack. Like, you want to join? And he goes, let me sneak out of the meeting I am in. Like any good, higher education worker.
12:46.
12:46. We went live at 1, right? So the Frank texts me about 7 minutes in and says, what am I doing here? I'm like, I don't know. We're just talking about really interesting stuff. Like, these are interesting people. Let's have a good show. Like, all hell broke loose and we're making lemonade. That's part of the beauty of it, right? These tools are flexible enough. And Chris, to your point, like, Jonas is armed and he's in outside of Stuttgart, Germany. So he right now for him, it's almost 10 p.m. 4 minutes till 10 p.m. He's
Super
able
genius.
to bring in Chris remotely, tie in Frank at the last second. And it's just fun. Like at the end of the day, that's what Epifan's about. Like, well, what we're doing is we're just showing people that there's the ability to always make great content, engage with people where they are, and remove all the stress associated with it. Because, like, Jack, it's a Friday, man. You're at Overland Expo 2023. Like, you're having a great time. And I know the energy of a rain out is actually a lot of fun in the campground. Because as soon as that rain stops, you know what's going to happen is everybody's going to pop out from their respective rig and they're going to have a damn good time. I call it the prairie dog, by the way. It's like all of a sudden people stop and
Absolutely.
they kind of poke their head out and they're like, you ready to get after it? Let's get after it. Right now it's time to have a lot of fun. So I hope that's your evening tonight. Based on the fact
Yeah,
that he
we've
didn't
got happy
respond.
hour.
Yeah, you got happy hour coming?
We got happy hour at 5, so we know that that's a big tented area. So we should have a lot of people out there having fun.
Frank guaranteed that the weather's going to be done at 4. You can sign a check based on it. That's what he told you. You're good. You just don't worry about that tent. It's going to limit you.
Yeah, just keep a parka around just in case. Just keep a poncho close by.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Safety third. That's what
I'm
we
not a
always say.
meteorologist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So.
Too funny. Anyway, Jack, I
Well,
really appreciate you
guys-
having us on, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for participating. Want to thank our sponsors. We're really excited about what's going on. This giveaway is super cool opportunity for the community. We love the fact that, anybody here can just come in and win. You just got to watch the stream. So we're going to show you the prizes again that we're giving away, and make sure to send that email in so you can get your thing. But otherwise, keep an eye on Instagram. We will be posting stuff for you guys as soon as it stops raining, I promise. Take care and thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.